everyone, Linda here, the scrapbooking photographer. Thanks for joining me today, where I am taking part in 2 YouTube hops. One for the Girls Down Under, where we hop along together, and this month we're creating pages about traditions. It's December, so Christmas traditions is the way I've gone, and the making the pav is a definite Christmas tradition in our house, as it has been in my childhood as well, when my mum used to make it for Christmas Day. So I've got some photos of that, but I'm going to trim them to fit in with the sketch that we've been given for Mix It Up Monday. And this is the sketch here. So we need 5 square photos. And as you can see, mine are not square, and the one that is quite large. So to fit 3 square photos down the middle, with this being 12 by 12, I really need to trim them down to just under 4, somewhere between 3.5 and 4 inches square. So what I thought I would do is, that one's easy enough. This one, we can get rid of all the periphery around it. This one I'm going to make into strips in the middle, just to change the sketch a little bit, and this one will cut off some of the edge. So I'll go ahead and trim these photos up so that they then fit on the page. I can show you that, and then we'll do some mixed media. Okay, so here we are with them cut out. So I've trimmed them down to 3 3/4 square. And for the one in the middle that was 4 by 6, I've trimmed it into 4 pieces of 1.5 each. So that makes these slices even, and it gives us 3 gaps in the middle. So when you're thinking of odd numbers being better than even numbers, we have got odd numbers of red. So you can't end up with odd numbers of both. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Now I may also end up mounting this photo, but I'll just see what I think after I've done the mixed media. So in the sketch, there's some mixed media here, or there's some decoration here and here. So I'm going to go down here and up here and here. So we've got 3 little bits. And I'm going to combine 2 things. One is a Distress Oxide ink called Festive Berries, and the other is Stickles, which is the Christmas Red. We're not going to do anything particularly clever, but we'll use this directly onto the cardstock. So I do need to make a wee note of where these pictures are going to go. So there and there, so I've got that corner sorted, and there and there, so I've got that corner sorted, and then just one here and here, so we can do that corner. Right, so I'll just move those to one side. I'm going to start in the middle because that's not going to disrupt anything if I get a blodgy bit where the stamp pad first stinks. And then I'm just going to run it up the side and down and from the side there. Now, once you've done it, it's probably best to leave it, because trying to do more might just upset the flow that you already created. We'll just put this back and see what it looks like. Now the reason I've used that lighter colour, because you may be looking at it thinking, well, why didn't you use a darker colour? I'm actually going to go over the top with the Stickles, and that will bring a darker little bit of bling to it. Okay, so that's kind of what I was looking for, so that's pretty cool. Now to put the Stickles on, I have an old loyalty card. It's just a, you know, like a credit card, but it's not actually a credit card, but that sort of texture. So again, using the marks here so I don't go over the top of the photo, I'm just going to put some here. We'll do one at a time and see how it turns out. You do have to do quite flat here to get the flow of the glitter. You can go over it again. And you can see that there's still quite a bit on here. So rather than put more on, I'll use that up there. And that's used it all up, and that's probably going to be behind a jolly photo, so I need to put more on anyway. And a little bit in the top right. There's still some there, so I'm just going to wipe it down here a bit and get rid of it. So I hope you can see the sparkle that brings to the page. There we go, that shows it up a little bit better. So while that's drying, I'm going to make the title, and I'll use the leftover of this real red cardstock and cut out the word PAV and YUM. It's going to get the ones that we need. U M and Y. I'll just put this through the Stampin' Up machine. Whoops, making sure that we're not moving out of place. This is the mini die cut machine, and it's fantastic just to have on the desk, nice and handy. It's from Stampin' Up, of course. I'll just move that to one side, and we've got our letters. So there we go, YUM. And the other word we want is PAV. So when I say this is for the hopping along with the girls down under, for those of you who don't know, there is a great debate between Australia and New Zealand about who invented the PAV. So, of course, coming from New Zealand, I'm pretty sure it's a New Zealand dessert, but my colleagues in Australia would disagree and say it's an Australian one. So it's quite appropriate to have this as a tradition video on the girls down under. My mother was Australian, so I could be forgiven for growing up with the impression that it was a New Zealand dessert because we lived in New Zealand by the time I was born, but who knows. Anyway, it's yummy and the family loves it, so that's why it gets made every year and has become part of the tradition. I assume that's dry enough now, so we'll put these photos back on and just see how the mixed media is looking. Now I do have another piece of the real red here, so I'm thinking what I might do is just trim 1/2 inch off two sides of these and see if I can get things to fit, just to give it that red outline as well. And I think that looks better. I might just move it a little bit that way. Right, now we have our letters. So that's where I found the best place to fit these big letters, because I don't want to cover up the glitter. And I do want to leave a little bit of space for journaling. So I'm going to stick everything down there and then we'll work out a couple of little bits of embellishing and the journaling. Right, now I'm just going to gut this before I stick anything on it. So that gives me a good healthy piece from the middle that I can reuse somewhere else. It's double-sided paper from Stampin' Up, and at the moment it's just coming into stock at various times, so it's all a little bit of a premium and I don't want to waste any. And then because we've got the glitter on the page, I don't really want to turn it upside down to put the adhesive on, so I've put it on the frame so that we can then bring this in and push it down on top. There we go. And while I stick the letters on, I'll just remind you that this is a hop, so there will be lots of other videos both for hopping along down under and Mix It Up Monday. So lots of different interpretations of that sketch that we're working with, which are always interesting to see how different people interpret a sketch and what they do to incorporate some mixed media. So make sure you have a look at everybody else's videos as well. And if you're not subscribed to the channels, then we really appreciate your subscriptions. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would really appreciate it. I'm at looking to get to 500 subscribers. That's my next goal, and I'd really appreciate your help with that and you joining me on this very interesting journey. These letters are nice and big and they didn't quite fit going across the page, but it's quite nice occasionally to incorporate some sideways lettering in your album, just to be a little bit different. And I do like this rich red colour. They call it real red, and it is a real red. So I will do my journaling here and then we'll pop a couple of embellishments on before we finish off. I've done my journaling, and as I wrote it I realised that the plate that I serve the Pav on every year is one that I gave Mum when I was about 10, so that's yet another tradition. Now I've used the star punch from Stampin' Up to cut 3 stars, and I'm using the Sweetest Star set from the Christmas range this year, and I thought I might put Baking Spirits Bright and a Mama and a Papa Santa and just stamp them on them, but do them as heat embossing. I haven't used them before, so I will condition them. Now to condition these stamps, it's just a matter of rubbing them on your forearm a little bit, and that tends to get rid of any of the coating that's on top of the material that they make them out of. So then they should stamp clearly. Okay, now I'm going to put my almost finished page to one side and bring in the Versamat. Now this is what I use to do my embossing on, because it catches all the leftovers. I'll just rub this. When you're embossing, it's a good idea to rub over with the talcum pack, and that will make sure that your embossing powder sticks where you want it to stick. I do have some red tinsel embossing powder, so it's going to be tone on tone. A Versamark ink, which is basically just glue, and we'll do, oops, need a bigger block. Okay, so let's do Santa first. Let's make sure I've got that well covered. Right, we'll try this chap here. Now just poke him up here and put some powder on him before he dries off. I'll wipe him off. And pop Mama Santa on there and do the same process with her. oops, onto the stem, the star. Oh, that one might be a bit crooked. We'll see how we go. Here a little cleanup. And lastly, we'll do the words. Okay, so I'll just close the ink pad and give that stamp a little clean. So they're all ready to put away, and then I can shake the excess off these. Cool. And this one must be poplar. Okay, that'll be fine. So then I can scoop up all the leftovers and pour it back. I'll just dry these off. You can watch them change. Nice and sparkly. And so I'll do the others and come back when we're ready to pop them down. Now this has got a little mark on it from something, which is a little annoying, but we'll see if we can just tuck it under like that. And then we'll have mummy centre. And he can tuck his foot in under there. And then there was some stitching in the sketch along here and down here. I've opted not to do that, but what I will do is bring in some faux stitching just along this way, and that will just tie in with the black writing on the bottom left hand side. Okay. And I think that does enough just to bring that in here to match into here. So that is my page for Mix It Up Monday for December, meeting the criteria also for traditions for the hopping along with the girls down under this month. So join us with the rest of the videos. Take a screenshot of this if you'd like. Remember to check out that sketch. It's a beautiful sketch by Shannon Blinn. And remember to leave some love on your way through the videos. Like, subscribe and or comment. Thank you so much for watching. Have fun everyone, and happy crafting.